Hey there, I'm Lee from Play Guitar Academy. I help frustrated guitar players get back to getting better at the guitar. We're talking about diminished seventh chords today. They're so much fun to play when you use them correctly. Today I'm going to show you how to do that. What's a diminished seventh chord? Well, it's a very tense chord. And it's constructed of 3 minor third intervals. So minor third, minor third, minor third. That's the space of 3 frets on the guitar. It has a very familiar sound to people. It's just kind of a scary sound. Back when they would have silent movies, they would use all sorts of different diminished chords and augmented chords for different sounds. And this would be the scary sound. It's like the time when you see the guy with the hat and the barbell mustache. He's got the lady tied to the railroad tracks and the train's coming, right? The way we would hear it in popular songs is different than that. It's used a little bit more to support other chords. Here is the standard way of playing a diminished seventh chord. You have I'm going to do this on, this is a G diminished seventh. I've got my pinky and my third finger playing at the 3rd fret on the high E and the G strings, separated by 1 string. That string behind it, I have my 2nd finger playing at the 2nd fret and another 2nd fret with my 1st finger on the D string. So it's kind of like if you go from the D string up, it's 2nd fret, 3rd fret, 2nd fret, 3rd fret. And a neat thing that you've been hearing me play about the diminished 7th chord is it repeats every 3 frets. That's the same chord. But you don't have to change the pattern with it. So let's check that out with this. We've got an E, a B flat, a D flat, and a G. In this at the 2nd position. Now if I slide this up 3 frets, let's see what these notes are here. We have a G, well, we have a D flat, we have an E, and a B flat. Same notes, same exact notes, they're just scrambled up, they're just in a different order. Let's try it up another 3 frets. Let's see here, we have a B flat, we have an E, we have a G, and then on top we have a D flat. Same notes, different order. And then the last time we're going to go up, this is up at the 11th fret. We have our D flat, G, B flat, and on the high string at the 12th fret, the high E. Another way you could voice that is if you did it, if you took that high note and moved it down to the bottom note. So you get a little bit more of a bass note. Let's talk about the uses of a diminished 7th chord. Well, there's 2 main uses that it's used for. One, it's used as a passing chord, and the other way it's used is a substitute chord. And for one chord in particular we're going to talk about. But let's talk about it as a passing chord. Right there. Now, when I first learned a blues that used a diminished 7th chord right after the 4 chord, that was one of those times where my ear said, whoa, stop. What is that chord? I have to learn that chord. It adds a desire for upward movement. So we're playing an A. At some point we get to our D7 chord. I'm playing a D9, which is a version of a D7. And then we play our D sharp, diminished 7th chord. It wants to go up to an E. An E is the 5th of our 1 chord. chord. So it brings us really nicely back to a note that's in our 1 chord. Very nice to outline as well with a lead over that chord using the half whole diminished scale as well. There's another place that a lot of you may have heard before, and that's going from just a regular 1 chord, a triad, just like an A chord, right? And your next chord might be, this is an A, your next chord might be a 2 minor chord, right? So going from an A to a B minor. Lots of songs. Have you ever heard that before? That is a really common, it has kind of a 50s sound to it, but it's a really common way to move from a 1 chord to a 2 minor chord. And how we're doing that here is we have our A major, then we have a B flat diminished 7. So 1 half step above the root chord, the 1 chord, which leads us from B flat to B minor. It's a really nice transition in between 2 pretty simple chords there. So it's not even in blues, it's not even using 7th chords, but it's a really nice sound. It's a really nice sound. Another way to think of this is as a substitute chord. The common jazz progression is a 2-5-1 or a 1-6 minor, 2-5 to 1. Okay? And when we move from 1 and we use this diminished 7th chord, you can actually think of it as a substitute for that 6 minor chord, the F sharp minor. What's the difference? Here we go. That's with the F sharp. Here's with the diminished 7th. But it gives you a nice walking bass line that walks up to the 2 chord and then ultimately to the 5 chord. But another really cool way of using this is using this in place of a 7th chord. So staying in A, so we're going to go from a A7 chord, and in blues our next chord is a D7th chord. Okay? Now, the notes from a D7th chord are very similar to a D sharp diminished chord. There's only 1 note difference, and that's the D sharp itself. And it can be used as a substitute chord for the D7. So I could use, I worked it back here. Here's my D7. Here's my D sharp diminished 7. We know it repeats every 3 frets. So right here at the 4th fret, it's in position close to my A7 chord that I was using. So I could play blues. I'm going to use it for the E7 chord. Now, it admittedly has it has a very tense sound because it uses the flat 9 of the chord. It uses that D sharp that we replaced the D note with is a half step away from the root. So it's got a very tense sound. When it played it over the 5th, it was really out. But it worked nicely over the 4 chord though. But you'll hear that over all sorts of dominant seventh chords. So it can be used in jazz, it can be used in rock, it can be used in funk. There's a whole lot of different ways of using the diminished seventh chord over top of seventh chords. So just something to bring to your attention. I know some of the people here are not into using the diminished seventh chords yet, and that's okay. But just hearing about this and understanding that there are these chords that have different sounds than what we're used to, more tense sounds, and can be used as passing chords, and they're not difficult to learn. Thanks for watching the video. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel, and also make sure that you pick up my free gift to you. It's my guide to clear sounding chords. It's over at PlayGuitarAcademy.com/chord guide. Check out all the other videos in this series, and I'll see you on the next video.